Hey everybody, what's up? James Moore here with JandJonJazz doing a guided listening this week. And look I was gonna wear a Canadian tuxedo, but Jeff has worn so many of them over the last couple weeks that I've spent with him that all I could bring myself to do was like just put this hooded sweatshirt on and kind of call it a day. It's been really challenging for me and my fashion Sergio to have to kind of like be around him. As great of a player as he is, it's really been a lot. So anyway, this may be my last JandJonJazz guided listening because I think I'm going to get my pink slip in the mail after Jeff talks to HR. So it's been nice seeing everybody, and let's go out this week on one of my favorite recordings, the great Miles Davis recording of the Frank Lesser tune "If I Were a Bell" from Relaxin' with the Miles Davis Quintet. So funny story about this record, and also Steamin', Cookin', and Workin'. Miles wanted desperately to not be on the Prestige label anymore because Columbia was trying to pay him like an alarming amount of money. And Bob Weinstock, the owner of Prestige Records, would not let Miles out of his contract. There was no buyout clause, so Columbia couldn't throw all the dollars at it to make Miles be able to hop onto Columbia. The only way Miles could get out of his contract with Prestige was to record like 5 albums at once because he owed 5 albums to Prestige. So he takes his quintet in the studio, into Rudy Van Gelder's studio, which is, of course, the first great quintet. Philly Joe Jones on drums, Paul Chambers on bass, Train on tenor, and Red Garland on piano. Takes these cats who work together every single night of the week into the studio, and they just cranked. They just played over and over and over. They did live set after live set, and Rudy just let the tapes run. And these records are what we get from this. And they aren't throwaway dates at all, because first of all, it's Rudy Van Gelder's golden microphones and golden on-the-fly mixing. You get to hear all these players in really defined roles. Miles had his group set up to where everybody had a job, and those roles were very defined. So you really get to hear everybody in their lane, but at the same time interacting with each other. And also the playing is amazing, because again, these cats were playing with each other every night of the week. So I love these records as teaching tools to help players of all ages and abilities really begin to dial in on what it means to do a job in a band. And again, the playing is just great. So here's "If I Were a Bell," Miles Davis, 1956, Relaxin'. Of course, these dates are so hip because you get to hear the count-offs for the tunes. They didn't edit any of that stuff out. You got that really cute little intro that they work out. I think this is from Guys and Dolls, if I'm not mistaken. So Miles would have to get really close up to the microphone to make this harmony sound work, as all you trumpet players out there know, right? And if you listen to some of the later recordings of Miles's groups, they stay in 2 for a real long time, right? You can really hear the genesis of that on these Prestige records, with PC really staying in 2 for the melody. And later this would evolve into people like Ron Carter staying in 2 for long stretches of Miles' solos. But you can feel that tension release when they break out into 4, right? Just super swinging stuff. And really key in on the wood sound that you get out of Paul Chambers' bass. You've got the hop, right? And they're so swinging that Miles can leave all this beautiful space in his playing, and it doesn't bother you. We don't lose any forward momentum when Miles leaves that space for us either, right? And there's so much bounce in Philly Joe's spang-a-lang, 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 spang-a-lang. He really digs in on 2 and 4. It just keeps the whole thing swinging, man. here's the thing they do in these standards on Miles' band is they'll play a turnaround now. They'll do a 2-5 turnaround, and then a 1-6, 1-2-5, 2-5, 3-6, 2-5, 1. Dig how you can hear how informal these dates are. Coltrane's nowhere near the mic, and so the first bar of his break, he's literally walking up to the microphone, right? And you can really hear how Philly Joe lets his left hand off the leash behind Train, right? Lots more interaction happening here. And this is a great lesson for all of us. When we listen to Train's playing during this time in his development, it's great bebop language. It's super clean and super clear, straight down the middle bebop language. What makes it feel so Train-ish and Train-esque is the sound, the time feel, and then those alternate fingerings he works in there every once in a while. Here comes the turnaround, the tag. Now we'll do it over and over. Red Garland's comping rhythms and Philly Joe's left hand line up all the time. Now, dig this. Listen to Red Garland's left hand. You piano players out there. He almost exclusively plays on the and of 2 and the and of 4. He anticipates every single change. These Red Garland solos are great for piano players to learn in your right hand, and horn players too, and guitar players, because they're so clean and so precise. Again, just really clean bebop. Clean bebop. Nice little drop there from PC. So when you go back and listen to this again, listen to the character of the rhythm section change behind Miles, Train, and Red Garland. It's almost like 3 distinct bands in one. Oh, that two-handed stuff is so beautiful, man. And really hear the influence that Ahmad Jamal had on Red Garland. It's one of the reasons that Miles hired him for his band. Works that blues in there? Yeah. Yeah. Still so much hop. We don't have as much of an edge on the time as we did behind Train or even Miles. It's a little bit laid back without losing time. Here's the turnaround. Just clean bebop, man. Just pour it out of his right hand. Oh, Paul Chambers is the MVP on every single one of these dates. Tight, tight, tight. This band is as tight as a drum, man. These cats play together every night of the week. We, as professional jazz musicians, don't get to do that anymore, man. Like, we just don't have that luxury. We don't have those opportunities anymore. So I'm always in awe of the chemistry that these cats were able to develop. This two feel is so cute. Bass players, don't sleep on being able to play in two. If you were at the Jazzwire Summer Summit, we talked about playing in two a lot. A lot. Doesn't that feel good? So we're in this turnaround for a long time here, and Miles gets us out of it, right? All the tunes from these dates. Classic examples of jazz musicians in the hard bop and mainstream jazz tradition from the 1950s doing their jobs, staying in their lane, playing good, swinging, hard, melodic stuff. Paul Chambers, MVP of this entire recording of all these dates. Just the way he gets around the bass and makes his lines so interesting while always having that hump in his time. Amazing. Go back and listen to this again. Observe the space that Miles leaves. Incredible. And we never lose forward momentum. Check out how much busier Philly Joe gets behind Train. And remember, Train's playing good, clean bebop. Red Garland's left hand, almost always, on those upbeats, just oozing textbook bebop language. Tight, tight, tight. Miles Davis and the Cats, If I Were a Bell. Look, come inside Jazzwire and check out what we've got going on here. We had a great time a few weeks ago at the Summer Summit, and it was amazing. It's great to be back inside Jazzwire with everybody, talking about what we learned at the Summit, digging into new concepts. And if you care about this music and you want to get better at it, check out the link here, get behind the paywall, and come see what we've got going on. Thanks very much. I'll be back unless Jeff has fired me, in which case, it's been nice knowing you all.